Hello, my fellow extraordinary Americans. My name is Cosmos Dar, and this is Extraordinary America. What is Extraordinary America? Well, you see, America has always been about freedom, opportunity, and the pursuit of happiness. However, most Americans are not free when it comes to the financial front. Most Americans are suffering from financial slavery due to loss of jobs, stagnant wages, inflation, and debt. Wealth and income inequality is the norm now, and the middle class has all but disappeared. So Extraordinary America is about the abolition of financial slavery. It is about the financial freedom of the 99%. It is about the nation of immigrants and the descendant of immigrants restoring the extraordinary within themselves and setting themselves free. The path to financial freedom is through financial education. It is through becoming entrepreneurs and investors on the light side. In this podcast, I interview fellow Americans who fought against the odds. Many of them came from humble beginnings to see how they did it. It is my hope through these interviews that the extraordinary within you shall awaken and that you will abolish financial slavery from your life and realize the American dream. Once again, welcome to Extraordinary America. Welcome back to the show, my fellow extraordinary Americans. For today's guest, we have Harish Beeram. Harish is an immigrant who came to America and is the embodiment of the entrepreneurial spirit of this nation. In spite of being declared legally blind by the doctors, he fought against the odds to make it over here. He is the founder and chief innovations officer at Solutions UI UX Inc. Previously, he has been enterprise UI mobile architect in various organizations like Inspire Brands, Agile Thought, Bloomin' Brands, Clarifier, and Raymond James. His passion is in innovations and UI UX solutions for his clients in the areas of UI architecture, UX design, UI development, and all things front end. He has designed, architected, and developed large, medium, and small scale applications with UX, design principles, and user centered design in mind. He loves to focus on product vision, direction, strategy, and implementation, and strongly believes that we need to make it easy for users, no matter how hard it is to do so. He's also the founder of Enable World, which creates a better quality of life for people with disability. It does so by collaborating with inventors, researchers, and funders to create technological innovation to enhance mobility, the senses, and relationships for a better and more enabled world. I'm honored to have him on the show today, and it's a great honor for me. Harish, are you there?
Yes, Cosmos, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's so good to have you on the show, Harish. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you. And thanks for inviting me on this show. It's an honor to be on your podcast.
No, it's my the honor is mine. So Harish, I know that you are the founder and CEO and you're an entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, your background, and how you got started?
Yes, I was born and raised in India, and I came as an immigrant as a student to United States to pursue my higher master's degree. I came for mechanical engineering, and then after graduating with a master's degree with a 3.6 GPA, I struggled to find a job that would be able to take care of my living expenses. So after almost a year of struggle, there was a pivotal moment, a 6.5 years of study in mechanical engineering. Am I going to leave it or I have to leave America? So as we all, whoever is immigrating or coming on education purposes, we all want to be successful. And there is this challenge that life puts you in some situations where you have to make some hard decisions. And at that point, I have to let my mechanical engineering go and pick up software engineering as a career path of choice. And from there on, as you mentioned earlier, I became an architect in front-end technologist with the challenge of the legally blind and low vision. And that made me more stronger to be able to pursue the careers as we all are given these challenges in life. And it is when we are made stronger. So that also led me into the entrepreneur journey because I wanted to make it easier for the next generation that the challenges that I have faced should not be faced for the younger generations. Hence, my entrepreneur spirit.
Harish, it's all like interviewing you and like talking to you is almost like talking to like a reflection of myself because I was an immigrant and then I came to America and I studied electrical engineering and I had to let that entire thing go because I knew that that was not for me or like God had not put that path for me for some reason and also because my parents wanted me to do engineering and so it was more of like not really much of a choice but then eventually I found the entrepreneurial path along my journey so it's really interesting how we had like these similar paths and all of that. But it seems like you had to go through like some sort of metamorphosis. Like, how did your overall vision and regarding your career change from like mechanical engineering to like where you are now exactly?
Yes. So as from the childhood, at I think it was around fourth grade when I always wanted. The first time I heard the word engineer, something clicked in my consciousness. Something, this is what I want to pursue at the fourth grade. And I didn't know which kind of engineering was, but while I was growing up, I wanted to become a software engineer. However, I could not be in the top 2% that could get into software engineering. So as
I
universe
know
gives
all
this.
about I know all about Indian schools and how hard it is. It's all about the grades and marks and all that stuff. And like it's all about memorizing and they don't really teach you properly in that way, you know?
Exactly. And when I had to take the mechanical engineering, it was a diversion from what I initially wanted to become a software engineer. But once you get into that career, you get attached to that career and you think that now that's for me or I have to be a mechanical engineer. But once again, life throws a challenge at you where you have to leave all of that, but bring the engineering skills and design skills that can be transferred to any field of engineering. It could be software, civil, mechanical, electrical. We are all engineers, we are problem solvers, and how we better the humanity from this stage onwards. That's that's what I
No.
feel is where we can make a difference.
So Harish, what is that transition point like? Because I know it happened to me where I studied like electrical engineering for 4.5 years, and then I ended up having to not even use it. Like I ended up doing something completely different, and it was one of the hardest things to like do to like let go of all this time and investment that I did in this certain subject. And for you, what is the transition point? Because I know it's supremely hard, like emotionally like, what is the
Yes,
transition point where you were like, I can't do mechanical engineering anymore. I got to go in a different direction. And
right.
and how did that lead to entrepreneurship eventually?
Yes. So, as I was mentioning earlier, it was almost like 10 months of trying mechanical engineering jobs. And I was going to even where a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering was not needed. I went to a position where it was like associate's degree is enough. And when my manager over there was interviewing me, I don't even have a master's degree. You have master's degree. Are you sure you want to take this $20 an hour job? And I said, absolutely. I was hungry. I need to be able to pay my expenses. And uh, they rejected me because I was overqualified. And that put me in
Whoa,
a,
what?
yes,
Whoa, oh my
because,
God, Harish, that is ridiculous.
and,
That,
and, and,
like,
and because of that situation, it's like, okay, am I going to make it? If I have to make it, then first of all, there is a challenge with mechanical engineering where if you don't have a green card, it's very difficult. My thesis was published in a journal. Even though Ford or GM wanted to hire me, they couldn't hire because I did not have a green card. So you have to go from F1 to an H1B visa, and all of that challenges, along with being able to establish a career. It was one day I was stuck and I was in front of the mirror and I had to make a decision, either mechanical engineering or being in America. So when that became a do or die situation where we have to let some things go, even though we are attached to it, because there is something that the universe is planning for you, a better opportunity, but in that particular moment, we don't know it. And we always feel that this is very, very challenging. But once you take that leap of faith, and like whatever it's going to happen, right? It's like marching bridge, right? You have to go in front of it. It's like burning bridge, right? So when there is a burning bridge, and this was in my career where it was a burning bridge, there's no looking back, it's burning behind. I had to just leap forward and just don't even think behind. And that led to me go and introspect. And it became very, very challenging. So 6 months of hard work, almost 18 hours a day. I used to go to
18
my training
hours.
center, 18 hours, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the night. So I used to be in the dark. Like I used to go and it used to be dark in the morning. It used to be dark. So only for the lunch, I used to get out and I used to go for lunch. And that's when I saw the daylight. And after that, I was mostly commuting in the dark. And after months of doing that, it was my time where I said, okay, this shouldn't be so challenging for younger generation. Something needs to change. And we all want things to change in the world, but we want to not take ownership. And I wanted to take ownership of that. What is in my area of influence? What is in my control? Can I make it easy for my next generation? Hence the entrepreneur spirit of teaching this software design and engineering to a younger generation was born almost 16 years ago when it was that situation. And it was a promise to myself, when I'm at a good stage in my career, I'm going to come back. I'm going to treasure these moments, which are very, very challenging, and I'm going to do something about it. Because when you inquire within yourself, it is why me always comes up, right? As you are going through that struggle, you're saying, why did universe choose me? Why me? But at this particular point, when I look back at my career, thanks to the universe that it has chosen me. And now my attitude has changed from why me to try me. Because as big as the problem becomes, there is an opportunity for me to become bigger than the problem, where the problem will now, I can look at the problem from a higher level of dimension and solve the problem so that it is betterment for humanity, it's betterment for myself and for everybody. So hence the entrepreneur spirit. And when COVID happened, that's when it rubber hit the road. Like I took all of my 16 to 17 years of career, packaged it up as a free course. I think packaged it up and then gave this free course online and LinkedIn, and people joined the course and they found tremendous value out of the course. And that's when I said, okay, this needs to go full stream and give this opportunity to younger generation.
Harish, I love it because a lot of people that are coming from India as an immigrant, right? Like their parents just tell them they're conditioned to just do a job. Like if you are a computer programmer, if you're a software engineer, or in my case, you're an electrical engineer, like get a high-paying job and then that's it. Like we're never ever told to think in an entrepreneurial way. But what you did was different from most of the
Yes.
other people. Like they would have been happy with just having like a six-figure job like in software engineering. Like you could easily get that, but you turned
Yes.
this around and you created a company and you're helping people learn software development, which is really amazing. And so
Yes.
that is what is different about the story of yours, and it's amazing. And it's about this entrepreneurial spirit that we're talking about. But Harish, my question to you is, what is the biggest lesson you learned during this journey of yours when you started your company and created this business on helping people learn coding?
Yes. What is the biggest challenge the question is, what is the biggest lesson, right?
What is the biggest lesson?
Yes, there is, so what a lot of people think there is a word called failure, and I disagree with that. There is nothing called failure. There is only data collection and feedback and course correction. the moment you give that word a choice, and you are now not letting your consciousness go to the next level. To be able to solve a problem, we need to be thinking higher than the problem. And that's the only time innovations come in, solutions coming, when you are detached and being objective. And when we always take that whatever is coming, the challenge at coming towards you, you have a choice: either go straight in, or you have a choice to run away. And we all do that day in and day out. We have a choice and we make the choice. Sometimes it's smart to run away where it is not something that's bigger than what you can handle. And sometimes where you can handle and your consciousness drives you there, right? Harish, you can do it. And when you get that from your consciousness, that it's going to be fully supporting you, just follow your consciousness. Don't follow your body, don't follow your mind. Always follow your consciousness. And that's the biggest friend for anybody, to follow their consciousness and go straight into the problem, and the problem will now start to becoming smaller because you are working on a different level. And now you will be able to uh, get ideas in the dreams, or while you're showering, while you're walking. And now small pieces of the puzzles, you're always conscious, because now you are always focused, even though you don't seem you are focused, like you are doing something out of the blue, but the ideas come in. And that's what I call as consciousness, where it's going to give you all the hints, like maybe this is going to work, maybe
Intuition.
this, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it, to always be conscious.
So Harish, there's an interesting point you made, which I want you to explain to the audience a little bit more about, like the fear of failure and how there's no such thing as failure. There's only data collection and course correction. Like this is a mindset which most people don't have. So could you elaborate on how you think about
Yeah,
failure and like data collection, all of that stuff?
right. And again, life is such a good friend, such a good teacher, such a good experience that we all go through. And it was around 2015 when I went to a driver's license office to get my driver's license renewed. And they said that your eyes are so bad that we have to revoke your license right now. You can't even drive the car back. And I saw it was almost like my life was looking for me, almost like a twin towers, and how the twin towers came in that 10 minutes. And I could see my life falling apart. And something in my conscience was saying, Harish, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. So be there, stick with it, and go right in. So I had to call my wife and tell to my wife, please pick me up. My license have been revoked. So 2.5 to 3 years of struggling to get all of the rides and the Ubers, and asking people for friends and spouse and all of that, right? There was something in my consciousness was like, this is, I cannot accept this. Like, I should be able to drive. I never had a ticket in my whole career. Until now, I don't have a ticket. I have one warning, and that was also, it was not a fault. It was just that I braked, and I never had a ticket or even a warning by that time. So I'm a safe driver, and I think driving is a privilege because of my low vision. So when I was going through this challenge, after 2.5 to 3 years, I researched about something called bioptic driving. And when I researched that, I found that there is a doctor in Fort Lauderdale. I could go and meet him. And he was like a God's gift, God's sent gift. And he was asking, Harish, I have studied your macular degeneration. I've seen how your eyes are doing right now. But what do you want? And I was like, all I want to be able to read books and drive. And he said, yes, there's something called bioptic driving. I can certify you for that. And I said, are you sure, doctor? And he said, yes, because I know people like you have always taken driving as a privilege and not as a right. None of my patients are bad drivers. And I can bet on, and then he gave something called as What I'm showing here is this bioptic driving, which was a solution to the problem that I was facing. Right now, it was my hands are back. I am now no longer handicapped. I can drive. Of course, I drive very carefully and uh, do not drive in the nights too much. So that, like, for every problem there is a solution. We just have to go inwards and feel the consciousness, and listen to our consciousness, how we can navigate further.
So, I know, so I know you mentioned that you were legally blind and all of that. And what was your when you were rejected for the driving thing? What was your process in this 2 years, 2 to 3 years in between this, and you finally find a solution? Because the reason I'm asking is because a lot of people go through really dark and hard times where there
Right.
seems to be completely bleak and hopeless. Like, what kept you going, and what was it that gave you hope during this time?
Yes. So I went through a challenging phase during that time, and I had to go through something of a health crisis. And when this health crisis hit me, it hit me even harder than the previous one, the one with where the driving license was revoked, right? So now the on top of this, I have the health crisis and the mental wellness crisis that I had to now take uh, a step back and assess my life. And I was seeing myself as a enterprise UI architect who is being able to do work as a software architect. However, this made me go inwards even and start asking the questions like, why am I here, right? What is my purpose? And I do have passion for the software side, but I was trying to figure out my purpose. And when this came into alignment, when day in and day out, I struggle as a person with disabilities. And it came to me as a purpose like, how would it be when you become an advocate for people with disabilities and you now have a mission to be able to help? There are 1.3 billion brothers and sisters all over the world who are people with disabilities. So it's almost 20% or like percent of the population.
Wow.
And being an advocate for 1.3 billion people all over the world, we are in every country, every state, every city, every
That is
color,
actually
every race.
that's actually the population of India, if you take a look
Right,
at it. But yeah,
right, exactly. So that's when I said, okay, yes, I take this, my opportunity to become an advocate, and what can I do to be an advocate? So then an idea formed about learning about accessibility, teaching about accessibility, because I'm a software architect. I learned much about how to make software applications accessible, and I helped my previous companies to be able to create accessible software. And I started giving lectures and conferences, talks about web accessibility. And while doing that, it came to me that why don't I open my own charity called enableworld.org, which is modeled against enableindia.org. So I was inspired by the founder and CEO of Enable India, Shanti Raghavan and Deepak. They are doing a fantastic mission in India. They are Ashoka fellow members. They are awarded one of the highest awards because of their work for people with disabilities. I was so inspired by them. I said, when she was able to give away her career in United States, go back to India, start from the ground level, right? When you start from ground zero, you know how challenging it is. You being an electrical engineer, you started again from ground zero, right? So they went and did that from ground zero and established such an amazing organization that is completely focused on people with disabilities. And when I saw and got inspired, I said, okay, what are the chances that enableworld.org website domain is still waiting in this 2022 or 2021, right? When I registered. So the domain was waiting for me to grab it. And I said, okay, Enable World is now going to be a charity organization which I spent my personal money to start this charity and the mission to be able to help people with disabilities with right now innovations are bypassing people with disabilities, right? And right now the current market state is even challenging for normal people. Forget about people with disabilities, right? So who is going to stand up for them? And that's where my purpose and passion are now aligned, where I'm standing up for my brothers and sisters of 1.3 billion people as an advocate and do in my area of influence whatever it takes to help go
That
to
is
the next
awesome,
level.
Harish. I'm really happy for you. Like, I'm proud that you're doing this because we need people to help others with disabilities, you know? That's a really important thing to do.
Right. And there are
So,
only two times people change. People change with either inspiration or desperation. And my situation was desperation because and people only also change when something happens to them or their loved ones. So at that particular point, it happened to me, and I was going through my deterioration in my eyes, and now challenge over challenge are coming in, and it's just to nudge me in the right path, right? And when I understood that mission, then things started aligning. So always when the question comes, why me? Just try to ask the question, try me, and go inwards, and now you will have purpose and passion alignment. That's what I feel.
that is awesome, Harish. I love the quote "try me." You know, that is, yeah, that it just changes your mindset, and it's like those critical things, you know? So Harish, I know that you are an entrepreneur and you came here as an immigrant. Can you tell me and the audience a little bit more about your experience of how do you or how you perceive America from somebody that came from outside, and how do you see the landscape as like do you think that it's a land of opportunity or not?
Actually, it's land of opportunity when you are going to be able to really believe. It's not believing in it, it's knowing that it's a land of opportunity. When I was with the odds against me, 99% failure chances, right? Again, there's nothing called failure, and 1% chance. So if there is even 1% chance, or even if you feel in life there is 0.1% chance, take the chance. And it's a land of opportunities, and you have to know it, and you have to be able to take it to the level where how because it is always bigger than a person. A mission, when people work on their mission and their purpose, it's always bigger, and it is bigger towards the level of humanity. It's not about the religion, not about the country, not about the race. It's more towards the humanity. And when we ask that question, what did humanity give to me? We should reverse that question, and what can I give back to humanity, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like it's like one of those JF Kennedy quotes, right? Ask not what the
Exactly.
nation can do for you, what you can do for the nation. Yeah,
And let's go beyond the nation. Now it's the world. It's all global. Business is now beyond borders, right? Everything is digital nowadays.
so Harish, one thing I've noticed, like in my case, and like even in your case, and a lot of other people that came from outside, and then like they took advantage of like the opportunity that America provides, is that the people that are native over here, they seem to take America for granted regarding like when it comes to like opportunities to be financially free, entrepreneurship, and all that stuff. Like it feels like they don't appreciate enough, but like people that come from outside, like such as yourself, tend to appreciate everything that is given. Like as you were saying, it's a privilege, not like a right or something like that. Like what is your thoughts on all of this altogether?
I am immensely blessed to be able to born outside the United States because I have born and brought up in lack and scarcity, where resources were limited, and in almost towards a lower middle class family, where sometimes it was difficult, where we had to wait for the paycheck from my dad to be able to. We were going in debt every month, right? And you see the resources that developing countries like India or any other countries have, it is a mind shift because being born in outside of United States is a blessing. And now you come up with this mindset of when I come to America, it's a land of opportunities, but it is a I feel I'm living on heaven on earth. And I feel that everybody should be able to live on heaven on earth. It starts with the inner peace, and the inner peace that I feel in myself is reflected over in my community. My neighborhood is so beautiful. Every day I am walking in my neighborhood or getting my car in my neighborhood, I see the nature, the water, and all of this, and I say, this is heaven. This is heaven. It's like reconfirmation and unconfirmation. And I feel that people should start looking from my eyes, even though I'm legally blind, but I feel I'm living on heaven on earth. I'm not kidding at all. And this is a blessing. And I would like people who have been born over here to be able to please take a trip outside of United States, go to Africa, go to India, go to any country that is lower middle class or almost towards a poverty nation. And you will see how great of a land is United States of America. And that's when you will feel the honor to be born and being brought up in America is you are in the top 5. The fact that you are born in America, you are already in the top 5%. And now you just have to go to the next level if you would like to.
Harish, that is awesome. But I do think that like people such as you and me, because we were born outside, we see the contrast between the different worlds. Like we have an understanding of how, like I've been in 3 different parts of the world, right? Like including the Middle East, and I see how it is outside, and then I come over here and then people have a different mindset, and that's where the gratitude and the appreciation comes from, right? Like we're not going to
Yes.
be able to like we're not going to be appreciative of things that we do not know about. So what you're saying is true. Like people need to travel more so that they can understand more of what they already have, you know.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so Harish, from your perspective, what do you think is the greatest challenge that Americans have when it comes to facing, like to realizing the American dream, and how can they overcome this challenge?
Yes, first of all, it is beyond borders. I want every American to think beyond America. It is global, it is world. So those are the days that were 3 decades ago, American dream. Now dream bigger, dream for the humanity, dream for the mankind. When we being in America, having such an abundant and wealthy country, and we are going through such an emotional shift with a lot of mental health issues, physical issues, and so many other issues that are going on. What about Africa? What about Sudan, where there is no clean water, there is no food, and we need to start thinking global. How can we shape the resources that every human being who lives on the earth can at least have clean drinking water and some food that they can? None of the children in the world should sleep with hunger, and we should feel the pain of every child who is sleeping with hunger as our own children, and how we can go beyond the borders and make this as a global humanitarian effort that everybody deserves food, clothing, and shelter. That's my take on American dream is no longer American dream. It is dream for humanity. Let's dream bigger than America. Let's dream for the whole world, and
Wow,
hence my enableworld.org. Yes.
that is awesome. So Harish, this is one question that I wanted to ask you, right? Since like you and I are like we're both born in India. So in India, there's in spirituality, they have this talk about moksha, aka freedom, and also like
Mhm.
they talk about how to attain happiness from going within. But like what I noticed is that America's motto is also about freedom and the pursuit of happiness. But a lot of people tend to like try to go through that by going into materialism. From your perspective, how do you think Americans can attain freedom and like attain ultimate happiness?
your question is giving me goosebumps, and this is amazing because my consciousness is so happy to answer that question. The freedom that spirituality from India talks about, the what you talked about is liberation and nirvana and the state, what Buddha showed, and what Shiva in India is always in that state, right? But think about this. We are living in 2023 right now. We are here to make a difference to the humanity and human consciousness. So the freedom in the materialistic world, that's right, that can be attained through financial freedom or something like that. But freedom is within, right? So when you go within, you meditate. I do something called Kriya Kundalini Yoga and meditation. When you do meditation, when you do yoga, it is when you realize your true self. So there are groups where there are believers, but seekers are alone. So go beyond the believers, beyond the religion, and become a seeker. And when you become a seeker, now you are meditating, you are doing yoga. And after that, you go to the next level where you know the truth about your origin. Who am I? Is that question puzzling everybody, right? When you know the truth, and that truth comes to you through your dreams, through your visions, through your consciousness talking to you, and it's when you give chance to your own consciousness to be your friend, to guide you with this journey that we have on this earth at this particular point of time. It is when we have to have self-love. When you have that self-love, it's pouring within you in such a manner that is over. It's like now you have so much of abundance of self-love that you can start sharing this unconditional love towards anybody. It's the unconditional love and the light that you can be to the rest of the humanity, and the consciousness that you can start lighting the candle of hearts, and you could be a big candle that others can start and light their candle if they are in the place of darkness. And that's where unconditional love and unity consciousness, where we all come together as humanity, is much more important than country, religion, origin, race, ability, disability, whatever it is.
Harish, there's like a point that I wanted to talk about since we're talking about this, right? So I look at the writings and teachings of this person called Paramhansa Yogananda, who
Yes.
actually came and taught yoga in the West, and he also practiced Kriya Yoga. And he basically said that God's secret plan was to basically bring, because he knew that America is an abundance of materialism, and then India has spiritual knowledge. So it was like the ultimate plan of the divine plan is to bring balance between the material and the spiritual world, where basically like Americans have spiritual knowledge, whereas India would have material knowledge, and then ultimately there'll be a harmony and balance. And this is something that I find in your case. Like you came to America and you're having success financially, but you're also having success through like because you understand yoga meditation and all of that and how
Yes.
happiness is truly attained. You have this balance in your life, and that is kind of what God wants for humanity, like in large, or at least that's what I believe, or that's my perspective. So it's amazing
Absolutely.
that you put that, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And when Vivekananda also came in 1902 to give in the religious talk, he started with the sentence, right? Brothers and sisters of America, right? And now it's time of brothers and sisters of the world. It's no longer America, it's just the whole world. And how we take care of each other, it's beyond the borders. It's let's when we give humanity a chance, right? There is no need for a war. There is no need for this peace is within. When we understand peace is not outside, and when the peace that starts from within, the love and light that starts from within, it's almost like a sun always gives, right? And the planets absorb. So let's become like sun that is always flowing out love and light towards the humanity that can take over and understand their own purpose on this land, on earth.
That is awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, I could go about this for hours, but we only have about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yes,
So I,
agreed, agreed.
I got to move on to the next, but that deeply touched my heart though, because it's something that I truly believe. Like Exploring America ultimately is about, it's like I know I talk about like financial freedom on this podcast a lot, but ultimately it's about spiritual freedom as well. Because like American identity of the pioneering entrepreneurial spirit, like eventually what the point that I want to make over a period of time is that instead of looking out into the external world, we have to look within. And we got to start the process ultimately of yoga meditation to get to that state. It's like only through mastery of mind that we can ultimately find true happiness. So I'm really grateful that you brought this up in the that you talked about this. And so yeah, but on
Yeah.
a Harish, on a different note, like I know you talked a little bit about your Enable World, like you're the founder of it. So and you're also doing these courses on like you're doing these programming courses. Can you tell me and the audience a little bit more about these courses that you're doing for programming, as well as a little bit more about Enable the World?
Yes. So the Solutions UI UX is a for-profit company which does offer this course for to become a software designer, which doesn't involve programming. And then there is also an instructor-led course that is for programming, which is designing the user interface or developing the user interfaces, mobile interfaces, or web applications or websites, right? So there is two parts. One is a designer who creates the designs, who doesn't have to do the programming side of it, and one is the developer side, which is software engineer who does the programming, who takes the design that the designer does. Because being an architect, I've done both design and development, which makes me blend two worlds together. I could train somebody who is from arts background to be able to how much background English, philosophy, literature. You can come from any background as long as you have a bachelor's degree, or even you don't even have to have a bachelor's degree, because sometimes education is overrated. So you can have, after high school, you can directly take this course, which will eliminate all the algebra classes, partial differential equations, higher calculus. All of that is not needed. Chemistry, organic chemistry, English, Spanish, that is all not needed. All you get is in this course is what a software designer needs to know, the design principles, the tools, the design tools that needs to be done, and practice projects like 6 practice projects or something like that. And then you are ready within 6 to 9 months, you are ready to actually hit the ground running, because now you've been trained to be able to take up a job as a software UX designer. So that's one career track. And the other career track is software developer, which is software front-end software engineer, where they can start developing mobile apps, web apps, and those kind of things. That's a career track that people can also take who are interested in programming side. So we offer that through Solutions UI UX for general population all over the world. There are students from India, Nigeria, Mauritius, and US, everywhere. And then this course, if you are a person with disability, and that person with disability will get this course for free, because this
Wow.
is my commitment towards my brothers and sisters who are people with disabilities. They can take this course for free, and then they can up their career opportunities.
Harish, I would advise anybody in my audience that is interested in programming and software development to basically take your course. Where can they find this? Where do they go to find this course?
Yeah, it's called Solutions UI UX. U as in umbrella, I as in India, U as in umbrella, X as in Xmas tree.com. Solutions UI UX.com. And when you go there, learn UI UX. And there is a page which will go through all of that reasons, like what will this career do for you and how you can get enrolled, and watch a free webinar that I have over there for 1+ hour. And now you understand step-by-step process. I lay out that process, how to become a software designer in next 9 months. So there are three levels: beginner level, intermediate level, and advanced level. So it will take almost 9 months to come to the advanced level. It's almost time compression. 9 years of your career now compressed into 9 months, exactly what you need to be able to become a designer. Because think about it, 3 to 4 years gone in education, and 4 to 5 years to come to that level of experience and to come to that level of proficiency packaged in a box on a self-paced learning, and then coming on a weekly basis to ask any questions, and then we answer those. So now you can learn at your own pace. You could be a stay-home husband, stay-home wife, who could take this course and come to the work field, and work is going remote. Most of the work globally is done remote these days, especially in the software design.
Harish, this is amazing because like in like software development and software programming, that is like a legitimate career path. And if people learn that within this, like in less than a year, that could actually help them get actually pretty good money. Like a lot of the good software developers, like they're making easily like six figures. So I definitely
Yes.
would recommend like my audience, if they're interested in this field, to basically go to you. And
Mhm.
so yeah. So, Harish, is there any other project that you're working on right now that you want the audience to get a glimpse of?
Yes, one of the project, as I mentioned, right, where uh, with the passion that you get, and there is also with the purpose that you get, there is these ideas that you keep on getting, where you start meditating, you get all of these ideas. I have created something called with a collaboration and a co-inventor of mine, something called smart adaptable wheelchair, or smart adapt wheelchair, which is to help brothers and sisters who are in the wheelchair to have AI help them. Right now, all the wheelchairs that are in the market are manual, or like you can have automatic, but you keep on doing the same action. So right now I'm in my home office, and I can just, and I named it with my co-inventor, Elio, who is a very humble, and he's been always on the wheelchair. And when I co-invented this with him, this is a future looking wheelchair that is based on AI, but to enhance the life of persons with disabilities. And this AI is like, you just say, Elio, take me to the master bedroom. It automatically knows to take you to the master bedroom. It's built in with Bluetooth sensors and GPS tracking, everything, so that a person with disability, and it can also raise up. So when you and I, you are a 6 feet person, Indraneel, I know that. And when I
Six
say,
two, six
Elio,
two.
6 years, right? I can ask my wheelchair, let's go to the standing position, and it will raise me up. So all this innovation is sitting in a slide deck, and I'm ready to give this to anybody who is ready to take this on as a mission. And because humanity needs it now, and it, instead of sitting it in a PowerPoint slide deck, any organization who wants to work with us, and I could this is a massive program with 11 projects in between, with 3 universities working together to bring this technology. And it's a five. Um, Once the prototype is done, I would love to have Indian engineers work with American engineers and universities and bring this vision to life. And that's one of my project that's been sitting on my desk for 1 year, not knowing how to get this out to the humanity.
Wow. Like, yeah, that is amazing. Like when I think about AI, I'm just like afraid they become self-conscious and then they're like, who needs humans now? But yeah,
Yeah, I want to clarify that. I'm looking for a world with AI as an assistant. AI is like how Alexa or Siri is doing.
yeah,
AI
yeah.
is like now Elio is going to be the AI based wheelchair that enhances the life of a person with disabilities. It has this automatic hands. Those hands can now recognize the cell phone or my bottle over here, right? You just train it, and now it's helping a person with disability. So there is nothing wrong with the AI. It's almost, AI is like a knife in the kitchen. So it's up to the human and human's consciousness and intelligence how to use the knife. Do, yes, it is raw intelligence. There is only one in
No, I
a
was just joking. I was just joking about that. But yeah,
yeah,
I do support the AI thing, you know. But yeah. So
yeah.
Harish, how can my audience connect with you and get to know more about what you're doing and your work and all of that?
Absolutely. They could text the word solutions, as in SOLUTIONS solutions, text that word to the number 21,000. And if they're in US, they will get my digital business card, which will have all my links at the bottom for my website, my email, phone numbers, everything. Or they can go to solutionsuyux.com, and that's where we are we have that website, and the charity site is enableworld.org. So that's
Awesome, Harish. Harish, I'm really grateful that you took the time to do this podcast with me. Like, it was an honor interviewing you, and I do want you to come back to the show at a later time.
sure.
And
It will be my pleasure.
yeah,
And
and
thank you.
no, like it's amazing because like you're into spirituality, you're into financial freedom, you have the balance between the two worlds. You're really appreciative and grateful, and like this is what we need. We need more of this in the world. So I really appreciate it. And
Thank you. And it's, yes, go ahead, Cosmos, please.
yeah, and I just want to like to conclude this podcast by letting my fellow extraordinary Americans know that there's an extraordinary within each and every one of us, and it's our duty to awaken it and unleash it. Until next time, like bye for now. Hey there, everyone. Thank you for watching Extraordinary America. If you like what you see, please do subscribe to our podcast and share it with others. Remember that the best investment that you can make in your lifetime is in your own financial education, for it is knowledge that truly sets you free. Also, remember that your purchasing power is being diluted through inflation, and then the practical thing to do is to protect the loss of your purchasing power by investing in precious metals or the right cryptocurrencies. Also, never forget that you are an extraordinary American. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.